Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 14. The episode is called Country Chaos. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell.
Let's do it, man. Who we starting with?
I wrote the least about Rachel and Jose.
Yeah.
So, let's start there.
Let's go.
So on the ride up there, Jose realizes that he talks more than he listens. It took him 14 episodes.
What week are they in? Week, like it's like 2 weeks
left.
There's
12
right?
days left.
Yeah. So a month and a half,
6 weeks.
basically, to figure out that he doesn't listen. What did she say?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Whatever she said, he just ran right by it.
It was something about, oh yeah, I did that. It was the equivalent of saying, oh, I was a cheerleader. And him like, yeah, because when you go to a football game, there's always cheerleaders at the game. Like, that's exactly how the conversation just ran past with him.
And then he was like, oh,
I
heard you. But the crazy part was he said, I heard you.
Yeah, but she doesn't feel heard.
Right. Nah, I totally get that.
And that's the problem.
I was like, damn, bro, you should have just stopped and listened and acknowledged that she said something. But anyway,
yeah,
go ahead. I didn't write anything for them. I literally wrote their name.
Okay. Yeah, the only other things that I wrote was that they got to the cabin or barn right after Mckayla and Zach. Rachel and Jose played cornhole with Zach and Mckayla. Zach and Mckayla lost. That was the ending of them.
Yeah.
Mckayla and Gil.
Let's do it.
All right. So Mckayla and Gil arrived third. I felt like in this episode, Gil was pushing Mckayla's buttons to try to get her to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that she don't like being around people. And he's like, what do you think of the barn? Well, she can't answer that, honestly. And we're not wanting her to lie.
Yeah.
So why are you asking her, what does she think of this barn? She was just like, I don't like being in close confines with humans. And he's like, there you go. You asked.
That's true.
I didn't volunteer this. Like, I have all been Mckayla's negative, Mckayla's negative, Mckayla's negative. But at this point, Mckayla had shut up and he was still trying to get her to say something.
Well, it's a conversation. Like, I mean, like, just asking what's her thoughts on the barn. And, he understands that she doesn't like being around people.
So don't like ask me nothing about sharing a bathroom with people.
But it's like he has to, gauge her thoughts and everything like that, because it's like, okay, we're one-on-one and I can talk to you honestly about certain things. But then when we go out in the quote unquote in the field, we have to figure, like, I have to be that buffer for you when it comes to everybody else. And then, eventually she's going to lighten up, because eventually she did.
I don't think she went into the situation like, what's the opposite of lighting up? Heavy?
Yeah. I
don't think she went into it that way. I think she literally went in, assessed the situation, noted it in the back of her mind, was like, I ain't saying nothing.
But that's like, I look at it from Gil's point of view in this situation, just because it's like, it's already, Gil is a person that likes to do things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because he likes to do things like that, his partner, the person he's with, doesn't like to do things like that. He has to overcompensate. He has to adjust the way he goes about doing things, just because of how she's going to react. Because the important part is making sure they're straight. There's been plenty of times in different situations where you've had to overcompensate for me, or I had to overcompensate for you, just because of comfortability.
Mm-hmm. However, I still think that he was
picking at her,
because he's like, She was like, I wish we would have had separate bedrooms. See? You asked me. I did not volunteer that information.
That's funny.
Let's see. Marilyn and Gil went to go ride horses. This was another example. So, Mirla says she had fun, but she wishes it was longer. And he's like, see, you can't be happy with anything. I'm like, when is saying I wish I had more time to do something ever a bad thing? Especially spending it with you.
Well, his point was he was just saying, hey, it was a good time. Yeah, you know.
Saying I wish we could have done it longer wasn't negative, though.
He took it in the negative spot. Like when a person has always been a negative person, majority of the things that the person says is going to be perceived as being negative.
That's his fault for feeling that way.
What's the quote? If it quacks, it's a duck.
Parrots quack too. Anywho, Gil tries to get her to not be a Debbie Downer for whatever reason. I don't even remember what that was about. They didn't do anything in this episode.
Yeah, the episode was about one couple, two couples.
Which two couples?
You know what two couples
No,
is.
because I got three couples. That's why I'm asking you which two are you talking about?
Mckayla and
obviously
Brett and Ryan.
Okay, well then we'll go to Bow and Johnny.
Are we done with
I was.
Oh, okay.
Guess I'm being a duck, huh?
Quack quack.
So Johnny says he's nervous because each of the couples are only getting one room and one bed. And I wrote, he's annoying.
Yeah, Johnny got on my nerves, man. I think what it is about him, he's already put in his head that he doesn't want to be with her.
And that's fine.
And so any chance to speak that and not enjoy her company, because Bao seems to be a very outgoing and a very fun person to be around. Like, I don't know how she is outside of the cameras and stuff, but what I see on camera, like, she's skeet shooting. You know, she's enjoying, she's nosy.
She's very nosy.
But she's enjoying the people.
I was like, Bao, go in your room. Go.
Close the door. But, you know, it's like a lot of things that you see, like, where she's just, you know, enjoying the moment and everything like that. And he's always trying to be some type of, I don't like this or some type of person in that situation.
So they sit down and they're having a dinner together. I think that's what this moment was. And Johnny says that he and Bao aren't in a good place. And Ryan chimes in and agrees that he and Brett aren't in a good place. And Mikayla came and says that you guys just need to be unapologetically honest. Mikayla, you have great advice. However, you and none of the people that you're talking to are able to execute it properly.
Yeah. You just did a PSA, didn't you?
Did I?
Go ahead, man.
So Brett told Ryan he ain't sleeping with her. And Bao was like, Johnny, you can go too. So Johnny and Ryan had to figure it out. They play rock, paper, scissors. I also realized in that moment that the only thing I know about rock, paper, scissors is scissors cuts paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Paper covers rock. Rock crushes scissors.
I'm never going to remember that. 34 years I haven't gotten it. I'm not going to remember it today.
That is awful, Doc.
But it was the paper and the scissors, so I knew who won.
Johnny, obviously, Johnny won.
Johnny won. He got to sleep in the bed. Ryan had to sleep on the couch. I was like, that couch didn't look too uncomfortable. I would have been all right sleeping on it.
Yeah. He definitely slept on the couch the whole time.
I mean, where else is he gonna sleep?
I don't know.
Not with Brett.
Obviously.
So the girls were all talking, and Bao shared about her parents having some dark time in her relationships and how she said that in their relationship, and she said she never wanted to deal with that with her own relationship. And then as she sat back and thought, she realized, oh my God, I have dealt with this in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I am becoming a person that I do not want to be. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm going to change. she need to change being nosy. Let's see. Brett and Ryan go clay shooting, and Bow and Johnny go with them. And Bow and Ryan are the only ones that end up clay shooting. And at that moment, I was like, Ryan does everything. He plays golf. He go clay shooting. Like, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Got a gun.
Right.
I'm in Texas.
Nah, it makes sense. But yeah, I hate it for Bow, man. Like, Johnny just was so negative towards her, especially when they was trying to figure out the sleeping arrangement. You know, and he was just like, I don't know where I'm gonna sleep at. He just bothers me, man. I'm sorry.
Johnny tried to play the game, but didn't know how to play the game. He's on this whole, I'm going to be rude to her in confessionals, but I'm going to pretend that I still like her. You know, when we're face to face. And it's like, keep that same energy, dude. You don't like me. You don't like me.
Right.
You know, don't try to be my friend. Don't try to act cool because we're around these other couples. Like, but he knows that Bow is not going to embarrass him or do anything like that. Well, if she is going to embarrass him, she's going to embarrass him with honesty.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an outright embarrassment. So it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I got nothing else for them.
That's it for me.
Brett and Ryan.
Let's do it.
I'm kind of upset that we still haven't gotten to this conversation about him being on dating apps. We have been dragging this out for like 5 episodes.
I think it's coming up.
Yeah, it's been coming up for 5 episodes. Like, I think that's my issue when we get close to the ending of the season with Married at First Sight. There's all of these things that we've been building up to, and they try to make it like a 4-episode arc. And I'm going to just be honest, even in my sitcoms, if the arc goes past 2 episodes, I don't want to see it anymore. This is reality TV. Cut it out. Find something else to do.
You're so funny.
Like, you're editing this way too long. Get to the point. So Brett brought up the conversation with Ryan's sister about him being distracted, and he deflects from that conversation. They were all sitting around the campfire. Did you want to talk about that at all?
What? No, the conversation with
deflection. Yeah.
Nah. Okay. I mean, like, that's all that happened was he deflected the conversation.
I just want to make sure you didn't want to mention
it. It didn't happen.
Because I was about to zoom past that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So everyone's sitting around the fire. I think it was the first night of these antics
of the retreat.
Barn. And everyone got Brett cookies for losing Baxter. They also lit sparklers to commemorate his life, which I thought was really sweet.
That was cool. Because
she really took her dog dying to heart. I have never lost a pet in that way. So I can imagine, especially having them from being a puppy, has to be really, really hard losing them, especially single woman having a puppy.
Right. That's it for you.
Yeah, this is my
That's
guy.
your baby. Yeah.
So Brett said that she didn't want Ryan to think that he could just sleep in the room with her. So that's when we get to that conversation we've already had about them.
Yeah.
Splitting up.
Like, it made sense. It made sense when she said no. I was shocked that she said no because I wasn't expecting it. But it made sense that she was like, that should have been a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Because if you say that I am interrupting your sleep, this is not good for you, this isn't working for however many weeks straight, and then all of a sudden we get around other people and you're like, we need to sleep together with no conversation to me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right. I'll just see you later. You know? That's just crazy that he thought it. And I get he thought that because he was more so of thinking what we do in private, keep it private. You know, don't bring that around all the other couples because that's not something that they're just talking about. She was like, nah, keep that same energy, player. So, yeah, go ahead. Fast
forwarding past all of the rock, paper, scissorsness and the clay shooting. Brett and Ryan sit down and attempt to have a conversation. I can't remember who initiated the conversation, but I think it was Brett that initiated it. She wanted to talk about why he thought that they were going to sleep together on this retreat. And he really got upset that she brought it up, and he said that she was going to cause a scene about it like she's doing now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, who is she causing a scene with? Because there's nobody sitting here but you guys in production.
I don't know.
She didn't get up. She didn't get loud. She didn't I didn't feel like she was like overly angry. I didn't feel like she was rude or condescending. She was literally like, why would you think that?
Yeah. It was just a crazy situation.
I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? I got nothing else for them.
Yeah.
So before we go into
the main event,
the hurricane and the attack, they did do superlatives of each other on the first or second night. How many nights were they there? 2?
I think so.
It's not really important. So they did most likely to have kids. First was Rachel. Most likely to end up in rehab was Johnny. I was like, Johnny does have extreme highs and extreme lows. Yeah. Y'all might need to go watch out for him for real. Most likely to leave the party early is Mckayla. Duh.
Yeah.
Drama queen, Bao said Johnny. I don't remember who the other consensus was.
I don't remember.
Like as a group, I don't think
Johnny was it for me.
Yeah, because he is. Yeah. And then last was to be petty. They said it's between Rachel and Mckayla. I would definitely have to argue it's between Jose and Mckayla. Yeah. Like I think they could be petty cousins.
Yeah. I was gonna give it to Mckayla. Because I mean, like taking the season, I understood where she was coming from, but that's like,
I think it's pettier to lock your spouse out and then grin about it than it is to take.
I think that's just wrong. That
is rude.
That's just wrong.
I think the petty part was the smirk.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But yes, I will put Jose and Mckayla neck and neck with petty.
Yeah.
Mckayla has just had more opportunities to be petty and has seized them.
Yeah.
And I think Jose should not have been petty in his moment.
I just think, yeah. Go ahead.
You think that what?
I was going to say, I think just Mckayla just has some issues that she needs to work through on her. Like her response to things. Like, I'm not saying she should not be upset about certain situations. It's just how she proceeds with her anger.
So, okay.
That's what I have an issue with.
Gonna start here before we truly get started with Zach and Mckayla. Defending Mckayla does not absolve Zach of his piss poor behavior. Yeah. Neither does defending Zach absolve Mckayla of her piss poor behavior.
Right.
I wish people would understand that.
Well, since you gave that disclaimer now.
Like I wish that would be understood, because saying that Mckayla, if you say Mckayla did something okay in your eyes, everybody's like, but did you see this? And you defended Zach being this way. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm saying that this particular isolated incident that she did was wrong. I'm saying this particular isolated incident that he did was wrong.
And I feel like for them, when looking at them and talking about them, you have to isolate those situations just because they're both wrong. They get back. They go on tit for tat or keeping score and stuff like that. You can't just do things like that.
Right.
So.
And it just doesn't work out. Obviously, hence why this relationship's not working out.
Yeah.
So Mckayla shows up at the house to ride up to wherever they went for this resort with Zach. He wanted her to say that she's sorry first. And I was like, exactly what are we apologizing for, Zach? Because everybody was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just start back with last episode where everybody was wrong. the first issue was, why are we discussing this decision day topic as a finite thing and then get mad at each other about the answer?
Right.
Because the answer is the answer.
Right.
Either I do or I don't want to be with you. Done. That's how people like end up in domestic violence situations, because you got mad because I said how I felt.
Right.
Everybody was wrong in that situation. Mckayla saying, I want you to stay here, but I want you to sleep in a separate room. I don't honestly think that was wrong.
Nah.
I think that was very normal behavior. You don't want to be with me. We're married to each other. Let's ride out, live in this house, figure out if we can make it work for the next 2 to 3 weeks, however much time they had left at the end of the last episode. Zach saying, fine, I'll leave. Wrong. Mckayla saying, you ain't gonna beat me to the punch. I'm gonna leave too.
I'm gonna move on out.
Also, I see her argument taking the spices. I'm not gonna say that one was right or wrong because she bought them. Yeah. He left, and when you leave, you forfeit these things that you also did not purchase.
Hey.
Just catching us back up with the rights and the wrongs. All right, so they stopped at some random goat farm.
Yeah.
Before they get to the retreat to talk about the argument that they had, and I don't think anybody apologized. I think that it was just like, I had a conversation with these people. I realized that we need to talk. We're not really going to talk. We're just going to sit here and play with some goats, and then we're going to go to this retreat.
Mm-hmm. Their thing is to, basically, the way I looked at it was kind of like a check-in. You cool? I'm cool. We're cool. All right, cool. We're going to move on.
We're going to go in here and we're going to pretend that we like each other.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do on Married at First Sight. So, they arrived first. The ladies all sat down and said that, and Mikayla told all of them that she felt like her and Zach were doing better because they're being brutally honest with each other. Mm-hmm. Then they have a sit-down conversation. I think this was after they went and did whatever sport they did with Rachel and Jose. Mm-hmm. Cornhole. After they played cornhole, they sat down and they talked. And apparently that night before or that day of, they had a discussion that they thought that they should divorce each other and then continue dating outside of the process. I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to date her outside of that process.
Is why, even if you wanted to date outside of the process,
why get a divorce?
Why do we have to get a divorce?
Right.
To date?
I don't think that changes anything.
It does not. I am still who I am. You are still who you are. And married or not, it doesn't change who those people are. And
see, Mckayla had a good point, because that was her point in the whole thing. It's like, I'm still the same person, regardless if we're married or not. And I don't know where Zach's point was with that. But where Mckayla messed up was when she got up and was just stormed off and,
I'm not saying she was right by that, but I understood it, because that's literally what you're doing in the inside when somebody says something stupid to you and you can't pop them in the mouth over it.
What? I mean, but you should have better self-control over than acting like a 2-year-old.
She didn't hit him. She walked off.
But she's not going to hit him. She had enough control not to hit him, but it's like, that's what our 2-year-old does. She throws a temper tantrum when she doesn't get her way or when she doesn't like something.
It's kind of like the situation of, I want you to hear what you said. And I've repeated it back to you 2 or 3 times and it's not clicking. Yeah. That you can't hear what you said was stupid. So I just have to come out with some crazy antic.
The only thing you have to do at that point, be like, no, I don't want to do that, and move on. Because it takes 2.
You're the king of, I have to defend my position, and I just can't believe.
I'm going to tell you what I think, and then that's the end of the conversation.
I just can't believe that you're like, she was wrong.
No, I'm not saying she was wrong. I just don't like the way that her reaction to it. And yeah, that's her reaction, but it's like it would turn me off too.
He was already turned off.
I'm just saying, it's like I would try until she does stuff like that. Like if you did things like that when you got mad, it's just like we wouldn't have been made it this far. Yeah. Now, if you start doing stuff like that, then it's like we have conversations. But, if you do that and we're like dating or in that situation, like, nah, it's no conversation. I don't want to talk to her because she's crazy.
It's like I'm not defending her doing it, obviously. I don't think that it was the right thing to do, but it's almost literally like, Zach, do you hear yourself?
Oh, what he was saying was stupid.
You don't hear yourself? So I'm going to say it to you again in a different way. Oh, snap. You still don't hear yourself? Oh, so you think I'm stupid too? Yeah. And that's where she got to. That was the scream was, he think I'm stupid too.
Yeah.
So she sat down and she asked the questions. Are you married? Are you ready for marriage? He said, yes. She said, are you ready for marriage with me? And he said, absolutely not. If you're not ready for marriage with me, why would we get a divorce and continue to date?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, Zach, are you stupid?
I understood where he was like, he's ready for marriage. Mentally, he's like, I want a wife.
Mm-hmm.
But when the question comes, is he ready for marriage with her? His answer is no, because he's not ready to be married at first sight. He's needing to learn how to date somebody.
And that tells me not ready for marriage, because you have to be ready for the person that you are married to.
You remember what I told you when we had or was deciding to have Lily, was mentally we're ready, but we're never gonna be ready to be a parent.
Ready mentally. I was just like
that was the thing that we wanted, or what I wanted. And
was it Walker that said, "Oh, let's do it"? That was me.
That was you. But it's a thing that he wants. So mentally, he's like, yeah, man, I want to be a husband. I'm going to be great, be X, Y, and Z. But then when it comes to it and he really gets in the funk of it, whoa, wait. I needed some more time. I needed to practice a little bit more, because this is like, he wants to say this is not what he signed up for, but technically it is. So
you couldn't figure it out by yourself, and you signed up, and this is what they gave you. And you started saying crazy things to her. Now, after she got up and she left, everything else after that was just completely irrational.
Right.
Like completely and utterly irrational.
She lost it, man.
So them sitting down in the bed that night and having the conversation of, okay, where did it start? You're not going to ride back with me, so I'm just going to go. Like,
she didn't want to ride back with him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get it. Her defense mechanism is, I'm going to separate myself.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm just going to call my sister. I love my sister to death. If you're watching this, sister, don't call me from nowhere 3 hours away and you got a ride. Right. There's 4 other rides that you could also catch back to the city in which you live in that are going to the same apartment complex that your car is in, and call me.
Right.
If you're not in immediate danger. If there is no immediate danger, what are we doing?
Right.
Production.
Let me be your third call.
5th. Actually, call your brother first.
Oh, that's funny, man.
He might come before me with less attitude.
Are you really talking to her?
Yes.
Oh. Go ahead,
man. No. She then turns around and was like, yeah, I can ride back with you. And they rewound that conversation. And I'm like, Mckayla's crazy. Zach is crazy. We're crazy for watching this.
Yeah.
Because y'all are crazy. And then he's like, I'm going to leave. The problem that I had with him leaving is this is the same man who couldn't drive across Houston at night with his Apple TV.
Yeah.
Because he was tired.
Yeah.
But he can leave late at night.
That's the point.
And drive back to Houston from hours away.
Because he wasn't tired. He was like, I got to get away from this girl.
This is the same guy. Just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Zach ain't been trying. He's just been using Mckayla's first blow up as an excuse to not try.
It was a okay, this is how I can get out the door if this doesn't pan out the way I want it to.
He didn't even see the whole first blow up.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
So he's reacting off of, bro, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
And not, bro, I just threw a Clorox wipe container. So essentially, he says he's going to leave. She tells him to go. She don't really mean it, which is a lot of their issues. She says something, she don't mean it. He does exactly what she says. She gets pissed off at him because he did exactly what she said do. She took his suitcase, threw it back in the room. Bow's being a creeper in the hallway. Bow, stay in your room with the door closed.
Just listen by the door. Don't just be out.
Nah, she was like, I gotta see
what's going on.
Mikayla runs outside as Zach is outside talking to Ryan. Ryan gets pissed off at Mikayla.
Mikayla gets pissed at Ryan.
Mikayla gets pissed at Ryan.
Go with him then.
He's like, okay.
I will. It's not going to bring him back. I don't know if Mikayla wanted him to come back or just stay for her.
So, okay, one of the things that I thought about is Mikayla's dad died when someone killed him in a car accident. Mm. You never want someone to leave you angry.
Yeah.
Because if they die, you never got to resolve that anger. So I want you to stay. It's late. Chill out, bruh. Like, go sit down, have a drink, get some water, whatever you need. But calm down.
Yeah, at that point, it was no calming down because at that point, like, she had went left and he had went right. Mm-hmm. But for the thing that I saw between them, it's like Zach is like, I gotta get away, and she's like, no, you need to stay.
Mm-hmm. And I get her stay was again safety. And
his initial thing is to always leave, and like everybody that's married or in a relationship knows you can't fix a situation by leaving. Mm-hmm. And it's been said this whole season that her biggest issue is abandonment. Mm-hmm. And that's leaving. She feels abandoned when he leaves.
And I don't really feel like she uses her dad as a trigger for her abandonment, but her dad didn't abandon her. He died.
Right. But
unless there was some type of abandonment before.
I mean, that's just a trigger. It's that's the mental block that she has. You know what I'm saying? You can't say how people should.
Oh, no, I'm not saying how they should react to it. I'm saying what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, it is what it is on that. So he has to, that's the thing that he's never tried to figure out how to deal with. And she has never had to deal with it on a level of marriage. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, it clashes and it doesn't work.
Right.
Now, if he was more willing to understand who his wife is and how things affect her and trying to make that leap and bound, then okay. That's where the maturity thing comes from, I think. And the wanting to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, he was clocked out the first issue that they had. Mm-hmm. If that issue never happened, he would have learned to deal with her and her abandonment issues a little bit better. And
I really want to understand what happened with that first blow up, because he says, I text. She says he didn't text, nor was he answering phone calls. Yeah, somebody's lying.
Yeah, like I don't know. That first blow up was like weird, and I think he didn't do one thing and she just snapped, and he's just like, that's what he made it feel. But then I don't know, man. I don't know what happened.
Like, you see what I mean? Yeah. Though, like, it's so confusing because it's like, okay, if the real issue was don't wake me up. I didn't wake you up. I called you and texted you and you didn't answer. Yes, I did. Well, then there should be some proof that we had a dialogue or something.
I don't know. I think that first blow up caused them to where they are now with Zach leaving the retreat. And like once Zach actually left, Mckayla went even crazier, flipping over stuff.
I would be like, Mckayla, do you have any money? Because we're about to have to start invoicing you for things that you're breaking,
she
cracking,
broke glass. She was telling the part that we've been waiting on, Hurricane K. We finally saw it, but it's not. For me, it was like, man, this girl gotta get some help with her anger issues. Just because it's like, man, that's not a way that an adult,
a normal adult functions.
Yeah, should function and respond to things. That's a way of a child. I would expect that from my child, my 2-year-old, but I wouldn't expect that from a 30-year-old. That's because she can't
use her words because she doesn't have them yet.
Right.
Her language has not developed that far.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it like her response to everything could have been better. She has a valid point in being upset and angry, and even with the abandonment issue, it's like you have a valid point, but your response to everything and how you're dealing with things, it's like, man, no, you have to get some help, and you have to understand that, hey, man, you need to go talk to somebody,
Zach needs to also talk to somebody.
I think
too.
Zach does need to talk to somebody because, like, the other thing about it is, why was he so... Because he said something that stood out to me. He was like, I wasn't thinking about getting married at 17. Why was he so, I want to be married?
17 years old. I was like, I'm getting out my mama's house.
Right.
I'm finna go to college.
I'm finna go to college. I'm about to graduate.
I'm blowing this popsicle stand.
Right. Exactly.
You was probably looking for girls.
I was. I went to college, like broke up with my girlfriend. Everything.
You were trash.
Because I knew the truth.
You were trash.
I knew what I was going up there for, a degree and some girls, man. Anyway.
Thank God for evolution.
Yeah, thank God
you were trash.
I was.
Anywho.
That's all I got, man.
All right. You got a question for the people? Without placing blame on... Actually, let's not even do the without placing blame. What do you believe happened in the moment that killed Mikayla and Zach's chances of a successful marriage? Because obviously me and you can't pinpoint it.
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
Look, if we just want to take it all the way back, it's probably COVID.
That's possible.
But at the point that they had their first eruption, the first time the hurricane started rotating and the winds got heavy, what was the moment that killed the relationship?
Yeah.
And also, I wish I had a question for Johnny and Bao. Like, what's wrong with him? That's pretty much all I could ask is what's wrong with him. I got nothing else. All right, yeah, just let's leave out the Johnny conversation. Just what is the moment that you guys think started the demise of Zach and Mikayla's relationship? Can you pinpoint it? Because it seems like everybody that I've talked to about this season is missing it. We don't know. We can't hold it in our hand and be like, this was the exact moment. Because most relationships you can.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. If you guys haven't already, please again take a minute to subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell. Share this video with someone that you know that watches Married at First Sight. Oh, announcement, perhaps. We haven't really discussed this, so I'm putting you on the spot. How are y'all liking Ready to Love this season? Because we haven't watched yet. And we're trying to figure out if that's something we're going to do. I think Tommy is leaning towards yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.